Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother and Dad. Love, Ruth, John, Mark, and Pamela. Ruth Smallshaw Ray's Letters to Her Parents. 1955, Part 92. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio. January 17th, 1955. Dear Mother and Dad, we got your letter today and thought you might like to see these Christmas snaps of the children and the window I painted. The children seem to get cuter every day, and I think we can only catch a little of it in snaps. Saturday I was having a bath before Mark went to bed. He's not usually up when I do, and he unlocked the bathroom door, came in, and was amazed to see me in the tub.
Why, Mommy! Why, look at Mommy! Why, what are you doing?
Etc., etc. Then he smiled and came near and looked in the tub and said very cozily,
Do you want to play with my duck?
He's always saying to Pamela,
Isn't she sweet? Isn't she nice? Give Mark a big hug. Give Mark a big kiss.
We had a very nice time at the Yacht Club Formal in Akron with Ann and Wayne Duff and two other couples they'd invited. I wore the black skirt formal dress Mrs. Ray made and a black velveteen halter top, same as I wore to the Christmas formal. Ann was very ambitious with a 6-week-old baby, and she's still coughing from the pneumonia, and all three boys have had colds. She looked good, though, and is planning to return to work. She thinks I should work, too.
When you have a talent, you should use it for others.
John made a remark that we plan a baby for next spring, 1956. But when John saw the Duff's baby, he said, Let's not wait until 1956. He thinks Pamela is already so grown up, he's ready for another wee one. Bridge tomorrow night and evening guild Wednesday. John has a trustees board meeting tomorrow, church with me Wednesday, and assimilation dinner Thursday, so a busy week as usual. I made a snowman centerpiece, white candles, and will make one myself and will take up coffee, napkins, and doilies, and have solicited 5 cakes. I had the children out in the snow twice today. Hannah gave Mark a ride in Jay's sleigh, and he sure thought that was wonderful. Yesterday, while I was at church, John made a 6-foot snowman for Mark. Some kids knocked it down, so he built it up again last night, and today they knocked the head off. I sure wished I'd had a picture of that. Mark's like Bud. He glories in the snow and outdoors. I have to carry him home. Pamela just looks like she can barely tolerate it and gets all red while Mark has roses in his cheeks. I must say goodnight as I'm fading fast. Love, John, Ruth, Mark, and Pamela. P.S. John took us for a drive Sunday, and Mark kept saying, Be careful, and so on. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio. January 30th, 1955. Dear Mother and Dad, very glad that you enjoyed the snaps, and here are some more that you might enjoy. John's mother sent them over, and I'll have to get some more from her for us. We're really having the cold weather from Canada, so expect you're having it too. As a matter of fact, it seems to be the most prolonged cold spell since I've been in Cleveland. We've been busy as usual. John went with me both to our church guild's husband night and also to the Bay Junior Women's husband night. John had his boss's banquet last Wednesday. It was very successful. Thursday night, a couple of the girls and I drove over to the east side for the Junior Chamber of Commerce's auxiliary meeting, a talk on petrochemicals. Very interesting, but a cold trip in a drafty convertible. Several girls said,
Oh, you're John Ray's wife. My husband has told me how wonderful he is.
One said,
Wait till I tell my husband who I talk to.
Last night we played bridge with the Stevens, and we were high, had good cards. I've been high the last twice at bridge, also good cards. I'm playing Tuesday night and Wednesday afternoon at a church benefit. John went to church this morning and took a poster they'd asked me to make about the pancake supper and a gift I donated as a bridge prize. I also have to take back a church tablecloth and tea towels that I washed and ironed. Tonight I'm watching television and babysitting for one of my neighbor's 3 children. She babysits for me sometimes too. It's a good idea when it's convenient for us. I had a neighbor high school girl last night. When we got home at 2:30, Mark was up and she had him in bed with her. She had a bad cold too. I was annoyed, as all anyone has to do is put him back to bed if he awakens. Oh well. He certainly is cute. Tonight he got my boots and then got his own. He wanted to come too. Did I tell you about him examining his dolly and pulling down her pants and saying,
"Where's the dolly's pecker?"
January 31st, 1955. I ran out of ink last night, so we'll try to finish tonight while John is bowling. So many things unfortunate seem to be happening around here. I guess it's all ups and downs of housekeeping, but we've been having trouble with the washing machine for about 2 weeks. The fellow was out, $6.50, and supposed to have fixed it, but still having trouble. I watched him very closely to see how he did it, and we did the same thing, but it just works once and then goes on the blink again. Very annoying with so many diapers and so much washing to be done all the time. He's coming tomorrow again. Then last week we heard an explosion in the basement, and apparently the gas went down, then up again. The heater man was out twice, and I had several hours in a cold house. Last night at Mary's, after I finished writing this, I noticed it was cold and their gas furnace had gone out. I tried to call where they were, but the phone had been disconnected. Then I called John and he was in bed. So I called Mary's father. He too was in bed and he told me to light it, which I should have known better. Boom! I burned my arm, blew off my stocking to shreds, and burned the stole I was wearing. What a mess! John was cross with me for doing it. A girl down the street blew her face off that way, but I was standing up instead of looking into it. There were 30 sicknesses or deaths this week from gas accidents. In this cold weather, very unseasonably cold, so much gas is used that the pressure gets low and the pilot light goes out. Then when it comes back, the gas builds up. If the people are sleeping, it's bad. Ours is supposed to have a safety valve. The furnace man says it has. There's been a lot of flu. 300 out in one school and several have closed for a few days. Joan says Ann and Wayne and the kiddies have been very sick, and they thought the baby was choking once. Aunt Nell got the cold and brought it up to Jones, and her little girl had a 104.5 temperature. Just hope we don't get it. I've had ear trouble, and my sore throat and low-grade infection seems to keep popping out all over. If we get through this winter, I'll live to be 90, I think. We had a nice letter from Mrs. Martin. About my window, I'm glad you liked it. I did it with poster paints, skirts in shades of blue and yellow halos. I'll enclose the idea I got it from. I used to do these small ones when I was teaching. The biggest job is washing it off afterwards and keeping the kids out of the paint. Mark spilled yellow all over the rug. He paints, but in the basement on an easel, and I cover him with an old shirt of John's. He's very good and tells everyone what his paintings are. Christmas tree, elephant, all his own idea. I outlined the painting with soap on the window first. For Pamela's pictures, I just want them Fred sawed around. Tell Dad, no setting, no frame. Mark said, God bless, Grandma Smallshaw. I'm just weaning Pamela. Good night. Love, John, Ruth, Mark, and Pamela. Thanks so very much for the Reader's Digests. The editor of our Women's Club paper just called to see how cold it is in Saskatchewan. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio, February 15th, 1955. Dear Mother and Dad, I knew I'd better drop you a line or you'd be wondering again. I just put the children to bed. Thank you for Mark and Pamela's cute Valentine. Mark just loves to get mail and had a big time this year opening his Valentines and putting them up and telling Pamela not to eat hers. You'd love to hear him say, Grandma Smasha and Grandpa Smasha. We enjoyed your letter today too, and yes, I drew the windows and painted them freehand. You can too. About my arm. The insurance man came out and suggested $50, and the check came yesterday. It's practically half gone on doctor and medicines now. The Friday after it happened, the biggest blister broke, and I thought I had infection in it as a red streak started up my arm. I went to the doctor, and he wasn't concerned about it as my throat, sore since Mark's croup bout right after Pamela's christening at the end of September. So he put me on sulfa, which made me feel awful. One morning I even called Mrs. Ray to come, so she helped me out one day. I was mostly low in morale, I think. Since the sulfa didn't help, he put me on penicillin, and last night wanted to see me again and gave me a shot of penicillin and more penicillin tablets and throat lozenges. The arm is fine. My throat is worse than ever, and I have a sore lump on the back of my head. John got a bad cold the day I went to the doctor. Mark got the flu the next day, then the croup. John and Mark are fine now, and this morning Pamela started crouping, so John switched the steamer to her room. Will spring ever come? John went to Columbus today as he has a case in the Supreme Court in the morning, so he won't be home until tomorrow night. I sure feel sorry for girls with traveling husbands, and there are an awful lot of them in Bay Village. The girl where we played bridge a couple of Saturdays ago lost her baby. She was 6 months pregnant, just a few days after we were there. They went to the Christmas formal with us. They have 2 boys, ages 2 and 4. I wonder what happened to Marion. Carol is Rh negative. We started painting the living room. It's beige. John did the ceiling and walls, and I'm on the trim. My part's not finished. Yes, I weaned Pamela about 10 days ago. She can drink fine, but not at 5 months like Mark did. She's a little behind him in most respects. She's getting a crush on John and wiggles all over when she sees him. Yes, I agree with the article. I can't stand to hear the babies cry, and carried Pamela even when making meals rather than let her cry. She was pretty good, though. Mark had a wonderful time finger painting yesterday, a red Valentine. Beautiful. I am to go to the doctor Saturday, so we'll let you know. Good night. Lots and lots of love. John, Ruth, Mark, and Pamela. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio, March 2nd, 1955. Dear Mother and Dad, thanks so for doing the little plaques for Pamela's room. They look just fine. Tomorrow is Grandma and Grandpa's big day. I hope you had a good time Sunday and that you felt well enough to go. There's been so much flu here, too. Mother Ray had it the few days after she was over here. After the doctor tried the penicillin shots and pills for my throat to no avail, the folks phoned and wanted me to see their throat specialist in Sandusky, so I went over there for 3 days with the children. They were certainly good to us, fed us so well, and paid the doctor's bill, and for the drugs, $8 for a new drug, panmycin, about 50 cents a capsule, like eating gold. He thought I had an infection of the lateral bands bilaterally nasopharynx infected. I still had a sore throat this weekend, so yesterday morning took both children on the bus over to Sandusky and saw the doctor again. This time he gave me allergy tests, and I'm allergic to feathers, smoke, dust, corn, eggs, and a little to others. So he gave me a shot and pills, and I'm not using a pillow. If it persists, I'm going to see a specialist here in Cleveland. Such a business. It cost about $50 now for a silly old sore throat. He said it would not wear itself out, however, nor is it contagious. The folks sure have been good. We went shopping, and Pamela's grandma really wanted to buy her a little pink linen coat and bonnet. I thought I should look here first, so she gave me $10 for Easter clothes for the children. It was high adventure for Mark going on the bus. He sure is sharp and has a memory like an elephant. Remember that spider you sent at Christmas? We lost the key Christmas Day, so put the bug away. More than 2 months later, he found the key in Grandma's desk. She'd found it and kept it for him. Mark took one look at the key and said, "Bug." He really has an imagination, too. He has an imaginary bird friend. Dick is getting married June 4th to a girl from the co-op. She is a social worker and gets her M.A. in June. Another co-op romance. Connie writes that she sat next to Mrs. Nilsson at the symphony and that John plays the cello in it. That sure is nice. I hope some of our children have musical talent that can be developed. I hope Pat gets her boy. I hope I feel well enough to start on our third child soon. John sent Grandma and Grandpa a telegram. Hope they had a good day. Good night and thanks again. Love, John, Ruth, Mark, and Pamela. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio, May 10th, 1955. Dear Mother and Dad, such a busy time this has been, and all is well at the moment. Mark seems to be almost over his cold, and John had had his vein removed. John went to the hospital Wednesday, and his mother came over that evening, so she looked after Mark and Pamela, and I left about 7:50 a.m. and didn't get back from the hospital until almost 9 o'clock p.m., a long day. I took John flowers and chocolate and saw him before the operation. He was gone about 2.5 hours. It seemed long, and I was very glad when the doctor came and said all was okay. So I was there when he came out. Everything went very smoothly for his varicose veins. A big incision at the top and bottom, and they put a snake up and pulled it out. It's all black and blue and bandaged, of course. He'll wear an elastic stocking about 6 months. He feels fine but tired. Friday we all went to see him. Grandma and Mark and Pamela too, just to the door. It was a big trip over an hour each way in 2 buses. However, I had an opportunity to do some shopping, so got your little gift. I don't know when Mother's Day is in Canada, but Sunday was here. So John came home Saturday and his mom left. He had a bowling banquet last night and board meeting till late tonight. I went to church Sunday and to the dentist and church tomorrow night. Then we take the children to Sandusky Friday and to the convention ourselves. Fish fry and dance Friday, luncheon and style show Saturday for me, and John has all sorts of doings. A big dinner and dance Saturday and church and lunch on Sunday. Should be nice. Pamela has a bad cough at night, so I'm steaming her now. She finally got her top tooth, and we were both relieved as she's been so crabby. Mark is just so funny. Yesterday at breakfast he wanted more milk, and I was feeding Pamela. Finally he caught my arm and said, "Mother, look me right in the eye, dear. I want more milk." He's always asking, "How's your throat, dear?" He's so affectionate. Carol chose Michael David if her baby is a boy and Lisa if a girl. Dick and Joan were up to see John in the hospital. They have an apartment and had just bought a bedroom suite. Her folks gave them enough money to furnish the apartment and are retiring and going to Florida to live. John will be best man at their wedding. I guess I told you I'm on the board of Junior Women's as historian. They've also asked me to be chairman of decorating the booth at the fair and share fair in June. There's a prize for the best decorated. Thanks for the picture of the diamond anniversary. Bud and Doris look so good, but Mrs. Ray thought Dad had aged so. How is Dad's health? It is a long trip down there, but you just enjoy these children. Down here, Grandma looks like she's had a stroke. I'm tired, so good night. Lots of love, John, Ruth, Mark, and Pamela. P.S. This morning, Mark said at breakfast that Joseph was coming today. Joseph, Mary, and baby Jesus were coming down the street in a car. At noon, he said,
There he is. Joseph is at the door now.
I'd like Mrs. Tracy's note back. To be continued. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Good luck to you with your efforts in family history, if this interests you, finding, preserving, and sharing old letters, diaries, photographs, family movies, and videos, and interviewing elderly relatives while they're alive. You might consider checking out our website, Adventures in History with Peter J. Ray at peterjray.com. So far, we've made 623 history videos in 7 areas: world history, American history, book reviews, poetic tours, Cleveland baseball, family history, and autobiography. There's a donate button. You might consider making a donation so we can continue making these videos. You also might consider checking out our podcast, Adventures in History. If you live in Metro Manila, Philippines, and are looking for a high school, you might consider Restless Educational Center, located in San Juan, Metro Manila. At Restless, we specialize in helping young people who've had difficulty in the larger traditional high schools. And the website is ressalest.education, RESALEST. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care. And I'll see you next time.